Hockey town, going down to hockey town, whoa, whoa. Hockey town, take me down to hockey town, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Welcome, hockey fans. Welcome to the Minnesota Hockey Connection Show. It's Monday, December 13th. Only 12 days before Christmas. And a lot of hockey, a lot of high school, a lot of college, and the Wild. They were playing 8 games in a row that they won, and then now they're on a little losing streak, but they come back home. And 1 second here. I'll put that down. But yeah, the Wild won 8 games in a row, and I think that's their longest winning streak in the history of the franchise. So they're playing on top of their game, and I tell you, they look good. Even when they're losing the last 2 games, they didn't look that bad. If it wasn't for an empty netter last night, I mean, that was an entertaining game where it was going back and forth with the Vegas Golden Knights. But hey, they're on top. They're on top of the Western Division right now, and I hope they can keep it up. They play some big games now when they come home here. They got on tomorrow night, Tuesday, the 14th, they got Carolina, and they've been a very good team. And then they got Florida on Saturday in the afternoon game. So both of those teams are way up on the Eastern Division there. And they got to get back on the winning streak and keep it going because, hey, a lot of people and fans are liking this team, and I hope they can continue through the holidays. And they have January there, and then they go on a break. They play about 3 or 4 road games in February, and then they go on an Olympic break. So they'll have the rest of February off. So they can keep this going for another month, then have a little rest and really a lot of games in March and end the season, regular season in April this year. Last year, because of COVID, they went an extra month and a half. So let's see how they do hey, like I say, they're playing good. And I was looking at some of the players from Minnesota that I watched in high school and Bantams and that, and youth hockey and that, playing in National Hockey League. And boy, I was looking at some of the local boys like Neil Pionk up in Winnipeg. In 24 games, he has 16 points, 2 and 14, 2 goals and 14 assists. And he's a Hermantown boy. And then Duluth East, we got Dominic Toninato. He's played 24 games. He plays 3rd and 4th line for Winnipeg. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists. And Derek Forbert, he got traded from Winnipeg to Boston, the Boston Bruins, and he's playing real well. 4 goals and 1 assist in 24 games. And Carson Kuhlman, Cloquet, and he played at UMD too. He got 1 goal and 1 assist in 16 games, so he's playing over half the games up there in Boston, so that's good that he's dressing. But the player from the range, from Grand Rapids, Alex Goligoski, they got him from Arizona this off season, and because the Wild let loose on Ryan Suter, and Suter's down in Dallas. But Goligoski, who took his place, in 25 games, he has 18 points, 3 goals, and 15 assists. And I was looking at Suter's points, and he's just 3 and 11. So Alex Goligoski has extra assist, but the main thing is money. Before the Wild were paying him $7.5 million on his contract, and I'm telling you what, they're making $5 million on Goligoski trade this year. So I think that even though he's been around the league for a long time, he might have to re-sign him for another 2-3 year contract, because I like the way Alex is playing. And boy, he was a real nice player when he played high school, and then he went to the Minnesota Gophers. But some other names, that Blake Wheeler, who played at Breck in high school, then he took off early and played in the USHL, but he's been up in Winnipeg, and he just got his 1,000th game. So, that means he's been playing over 12 years already in the National Hockey League. That's amazing to play that many games as a forward, because usually injuries and everything, you almost have to play a 20-year career to get that many games. But so far this year, in 22 games, Blake has 1 goal and 16 assists. And there's about 35 Minnesota players this year in the National Hockey League that has scored a goal in the National Hockey League. So Minnesota is still doing it. And I tell you, by the end of the year, you'll have 45 to 50 players that played Minnesota high school hockey, then are playing in the National Hockey League and scored a goal this year. So just shows you that Minnesota high school hockey is still good and bringing out some really nice players into the National Hockey League. And this week, like I said, the Wild on Tuesday night play Carolina at home. Then they got Buffalo on Thursday night, the 16th. And then on the 18th, Saturday, they got an afternoon 1 o'clock game with the Florida Panthers. So, then 3 big games this week, and I hope they can continue their good play at home, because they've been playing real well at home. Let's jump right into high school hockey. I've been seeing a lot of high school games, and it's coming down to where I think in Class AA, there's going to be probably 15 teams that can win the state tournament this year, and it'll come down to the goaltending. Goaltending is always the foundation at the end of the season for playoffs and that. So some of the teams that might even be more than 15, like there's some dark horses after 15, like Centennial, Blaine, Elk River. There's a few others, but there could be up to 20 teams that can win the state tournament by the time the regular season is over. But my rankings for Class AA this week, I'm going to start out with number 1, Cretin-Durham Hall. They're 4-1. Number 2, Edina, 4-0. Edina has the Edina Classic this week, so they play Grand Rapids on Thursday night. They play Elk River on Friday night, and then Eden Prairie on Saturday night. So every year this is a big little tournament with these 4 teams. They've been playing together for quite a few years now, and I like going down, seeing some of the better players in the state on these teams. Okay, number 3, Lakeville South, 4-0. Number 4, Maple Grove, 4-1. Number 5, Andover, 4-1. Number 6, they made a big jump. Roseau had a good week. They beat Moorhead earlier in the week, and they beat Grand Rapids at the end of the week. So 2 big wins, so that pushed them way up. Number 7, Wayzata. Boy, they throw out 3 lines, and you can't tell the difference of any line. They're blue collar, they work hard, they don't give you much space, and they're just a solid team, top to bottom, where they're not going to allow too many goals on this team when they're playing their game. Number 8, Grand Rapids. They had a hard weekend up in the Northwest. They lost to Roseau on Friday night in overtime, and then they went over to War Road and lost in overtime there. 2 close games, but 2 very good teams. So Grand Rapids didn't really drop that much. But number 8, Grand Rapids at 5-2. Number 9, Hill Murray, 3-2. I think this team by the end of the year is going to be one of the better teams and another chance to win another state title because they got a really nice goaltender in Nick Erickson, and I really like this kid, and I think once they start rolling, they're going to roll. Number 10, Benel St. Margaret. They're 2-3, but they played a very tough schedule already, and I think this team, because of that schedule, is going to get better and better too. And they have a lot of good seniors and a lot of young kids on this team, and I think it's a team to look at when section play starts again. And then 5 teams to watch. I got Chaska. Their schedule hasn't been as tough as some of the other teams, but they're 5-0 and a very nice team. Another team to watch is Eden Prairie. I think they got a lot of young kids, but I think this team, give them time. Eden Prairie, big school, a lot of hockey players. I think this school will be there at the end again. And another team is Gentry Academy, 3-1. Moorhead, 3-4. Moorhead's played a tough schedule, and if they can get their goalie to be more steady, find a goalie. I mean, then I think they've been playing 3 different goalies already. If they can find one that starts playing pretty decent, consistent, I think this is a team that you have to watch. And it looks like right now it's always coming down to Moorhead and Rosal in Section 8. But we'll see. Another team is Prairie Lake. They haven't really played that many good teams either, but Prairie Lake has that first line of seniors might be one of the better first lines in the state with Bum, Shoemaker, and Rice. So if you have a chance to see them over the holidays down in Dakota there, arena, I would get down there because you're going to have a lot of good teams. You're going to have St. Thomas Academy, Edina, Moorhead, Prairie Lake. So a lot of good teams down there and in Dakota, down by Mystic Lake. Okay, back over to Class A. Well, this is pretty common every year. At number 1, Hermantown. Hermantown has played 4 very good Class AA teams. 3 for sure that were in the top 10, and they beat every one of them. So Hermantown, to me, is probably one of the top 3 teams if you put both classes together. And I tell you, they got a really nice team this year. I think it's one of their better teams over the years. They've had some great teams too. So if they can stay healthy, they got a lot of small kids, but they're very skilled with the Plant Boys and the Hanson, and I mean, it goes on with this team. I mean, they're deep, and they got the goaltending with this little Kellaway kid, sophomore, that transferred from Duluth East. And I tell you what, yeah, this is a team I don't see losing, but if there was a couple teams that can beat them, I think it would be number 2, Rural, which is 5-0, or Matamita, number 3, which is 4-2. Matamita has maybe the best goalie in the state in Dardis, and they're 4-2 right now, but their schedule has been tough, and they've been handling a lot of these tough teams right now. So, like I said, if Hermantown's going to lose, I think it's going to be to one of those 2 teams. Or even, I like East Grand Forks. They started out a little slow, but another team that if they get their goaltending to be pretty consistent, that will be a team to watch because they put a lot of shots on net, and they've been a solid team for the last 10 years. So we'll see. And number 4 was Fergus Falls, 5-0. Number 6 was Little Falls, 7-0. Delano, number 7, 4-1. Duluth Denfield. They lost a couple games in the beginning of the year, but now they're starting to play their style. They're looking pretty good the last couple games. So Duluth Denfield at 4-2, and they got let's see, they got how many teams did they get? Well, they beat Cloquet the other day, and so I think this team got to watch them too. They could if they can get a goalie for one game, they can probably beat Hermantown in a one-game match. So section playoffs, I could see those two teams getting together for the championship. Okay, number 9, Minneapolis, 5-1. And number 10, Northfield, 3-1. Teams to watch: Alexandria, New Prague, Northern Lakes, Providence Academy, and Southwest Christian. And like I said earlier, that I think right now it's only a 4-team race for the Class A, just my opinion. But I think Hermantown has a big lead over the other teams on their talent, and with their strong schedule, if they could stay healthy, this is going to make them a lot better team at the end of the year too. So we'll see and watch, and hopefully a couple more teams can pick it up, and when they get to state, compete if Hermantown gets there again. All right, college. We got a lot of... Denver came into town to play the Bulldogs, UMD. And I tell you what, Friday night, they just dominated UMD. UMD got 4 of their players back that day, and they've been out for a couple weeks. And protocol for COVID, and they had some injuries too. So, but they got some players back and practicing now. So, but Friday night, it didn't look like anyone showed up for the Bulldogs, and Denver took it to them 5-0. And Denver's playing really good hockey right now. But then somehow Saturday, I heard there was a closed door meeting Friday night after that 5-0 loss, and coaches have a lot to say to the players. And boy, they must have listened, because Saturday night they came back, and I think it was 5-2 the score, the final score. But it was a great game for the Bulldogs to come back like that. If you saw Friday night's game and Saturday night's game, I'll tell you what, it was like two different. Big difference on both games. I mean, how one team can dominate one night and the other team dominates. And the nice thing about the NCHC, every team is really good this year. And boy, the schedule for the Bulldogs going down the line, they got to play St. Cloud State 4 games. They got to play Western Michigan 2 games. They got to play Denver again, 2 games out in Denver. They got North Dakota coming in mid-February, and all these teams are in the top 8 teams in the nation right now. And so I tell you what, their schedule, it's got to be the toughest in college hockey for the rest of the year. And they'll start back up at the end of the year, where Minnesota State, who are number 1 in the regular poll right now, and Minnesota State, they'll play a home and home, like I think it's Friday the 30th, and then January 1st, New Year's Day, up here at Amsoil. So they got Minnesota State, who are number 1. They got Western Michigan, number 1 in the pairwise, number 4 in the regular poll. They got Denver, number 5 in pairwise, number 11 on the regular poll. They got North Dakota, tied for 5 on the pairwise, and number 7. So, in St. Cloud State, they're number 8 in the pairwise and number 6 on the regular poll. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the top 8 they got to play the second half of the season. And I tell you what, they better, I mean, just getting over 500 is going to be a tough job for the Bulldogs. But I think the way they're coached and their style of play, they can do it because I know 7 of the games will be at Amsoil. It's nice to be home. And when you're home, you got your students and your fans on you helping you out, and that helps the team too. But wait and see on that. But some great matchups the second half of the year in the NCHC, and plus the non-conference games left. And then second half of the season, the pairwise comes in order a lot better because all the teams will have their non-conference games done, and they just play their conference leagues games. So we'll see. Coming down the line, second half of the year, college hockey is going to be great. In the ladies D1, the Bulldogs split with the Minnesota Gophers this week down in Ritter Arena in Minneapolis, and they had a pretty good weekend. They stayed close the second game even. They could have won 2. But the women's poll are Quinnipiac and pairwise number 1, Ohio State number 2, Minnesota number 3, Wisconsin number 4, Northeastern number 5, Yale number 6, Harvard number 7. We got Minnesota Duluth number 12. But in the regular poll, they got them at number 9, so they move up on the regular poll. Oh, very good. So there's a lot of high school hockey coming down the line, and we got this week, like I said, Cloquet East. I think in 30 years, I've never missed a Cloquet East game. This might be my first time because I'm going to go down to the Twin Cities and see the Edina Classic. I want to see Grand Rapids and Edina play on Thursday night for sure, and plus see a couple senior players on the other teams because I have a vote on Mr. Hockey, and I'll tell you what, in all the years I've been doing this, this has to be the toughest year for seniors to pick for Mr. Hockey. It's just, it's not that there's not any good players. It's not that they don't have these elite players that come in the year. The junior class is loaded with these elite players. I could pick 7 right away that'll be on my list. Where the seniors, I got to watch a lot of games and watch a lot of players to kind of get my guess on who I think should be Mr. Hockey. On the goalies, Frank Brinzik, we got 2 goalies I like on the east side there. One's Class A, Matamita, Dardis, and then we got Erickson over at Hill Murray. I like those 2 goalies right now. They're my front runners on the Frank Brinzik Award for Goalie of the Year, Senior Goalie of the Year. But we'll wait and see. Some of the players I'm looking at right now, we got, I like this Strand up in Rosal. Grand Rapids has a lot of seniors, but I have to figure it out in the next week and that if any of them is worth getting in the top 7. Eden Prairie has 1 player that I like. And then we got Edina will have a couple players too. So when I watch them this coming week, it'll be I can figure out one of those players probably would be on my list. But it's tough this year. Hill has a couple players I know. So, but it'll take me the middle of January to have my 7 players that I think will be up for Mr. Hockey this year. And boy, it's just been tough. Hey, going back to the Wild, just to show you who's playing real well. About 3 weeks ago, we were talking about a couple of players, Kirill Kaprizov and Kevin Fiala. Not doing that well, but boy, they both picked it up. And Fiala man, if he doesn't hit so many pipes, he'd have a lot of goals himself. But Kirill has 10 goals and 22 assists now. So that's 32 points in 28 games. The top goal scorers for the Wild are Ryan Hartman and Marcus Foligno. They both have 13 goals. So we got a lot of Wild players that are going to have 20-plus goals this year, and at least 5. And I see a few players picking it up now, other players that has a chance maybe to get to 20 goals. When you get 20 goal scorers on a team, you get 5 or 6 of them, you have a solid team, because that means different player are picking it up in different games, So we hope this continues for the Wild. Joel Eck has 11 goals. So we got 4 players that have 10 goals or more already. Okay, besides the Edina, going back to high school, besides the Edina Classic this week, we got on Thursday night some good games. War Road, East Grand Forks, like I said before, Grand Rapids versus Edina, and Benil versus number 1 Cretin. So that's a good private school matchup. Good public school matchup with Grand Rapids and Edina, and good Class A. So big games on Thursday. I would go to either one of them if you're in the area. On 17th, Rapids and Eden Prairie down at Braemar in Edina. And then on the 18th, I know I'm going to the Wild game at 1 o'clock, but then I'm going up to out to Stillwater to see Hermantown versus Montemita. And then at night, I'm going to see St. Thomas Academy against Hill Murray, another good private school matchup. So some big games this week. And then Christmas week, all the tournaments are coming on. So Dakota, Bloomington Ice Gardens, and St. Louis Park. If you don't want to watch your home teams, those are the 3 places to be for high school hockey. They're great AA games at all 3 places in these little tournaments they have on Christmas week. Usually it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 28th, 29th, 30th of December. So you go down to Dakota at Mystic Lake, or Big in Bloomington, or St. Louis Park. Well, that's it for our show, and I want to thank the producers, Jim, Vicki, and Liz. And I want everyone to have a happy holidays, and get out and see some hockey, and see you at the rink.